Thanks. It's a great honor for me to be able to present this award to my lifelong friend, Davy Stoop. I calculated that I must have boxed about 150 rounds with Davy. It seemed like a whole lot more than that. And they were all painful. And Davy came over to Penn State as a freshman when I was already a sophomore. But he had already had won more fights than I had ever seen. And it was sort of a case of him being the mentor and me being the student. But one of the times we were going at it pretty hard, I threw a wild punch and Davy went down. And I said to myself, I wish I hadn't done that. So I quickly got into a clinch and I hollered in his ear, sorry about that, Dave. Dave didn't say anything. Dave never said very much outside the ring. You couldn't hardly strike up a conversation in the ring. Anyhow, on the way home that night, he said to me, Bob, he said, don't ever apologize for what happens in the ring. He said, when I'm in the ring, I'd kill my own grandmother. I thought I knew what he meant, but I found out about a month later. We were matched against each other for the intramural championship. And after 3 rounds, these guys that were the judges must have been watching the same fight that I was, but they called it a draw. So that required an extra round. That extra round was the longest couple of minutes of my life, Joe. Anyhow, I promised to cut it short, so I have 2 letters here that I want to give to Joe that came from Davy's friends who would like to have been here and would have been here under other circumstances. The one is Davy's former roommate and fraternity brother, Julius Epstein. Julius and his brother Phil both boxed in the Penn State teams, and after they graduated, it was the Depression, and they tried out for professional boxing. But they found a much easier way to make a living. They started writing stage plays for Broadway, and they were so successful they were invited to Hollywood, where they wrote more than 50 movies, and some of the greatest of all time. You all read a review about a week ago of the picture Casablanca. Well, it was Davy's roommate that wrote that movie. And I have this letter. I promised not to take more than 4 minutes, so I'm not going to read the letter. I'm going to give it to Joe. But I also have another letter here from another Penn State boxer who was quite famous, and that was old Billy Seuss. Those of you who followed boxing remember that Billy Seuss was one of the greats during the 1940s. Now, when Billy started to box, Billy had a grandma too, and she saw him boxing one time, and she said, Billy, you're going to have to quit hitting people so hard. You're going to hurt your poor little hands. Now, Billy didn't listen to his grandma, and he kept hitting people harder and harder, and he finally became the middleweight champion of the world. Those of you who followed boxing remember Billy Seuss. Well, Billy wanted to come up here this week, and it was just because he didn't listen to his grandma that he didn't come, because he did hurt his hand. And when I saw him last year, he had 2 fingers going one way and 2 fingers going the other way. He said he was going to get that hand operated on. And it just turned out that the surgery for his hand happened last week. So he explains that in this letter, Joe. I'm going to give them both over to you. I see my time's almost up, and I thank you.